We will be discussing Susan B. Anthony proof dollars in the San Francisco mint mark styles. We're going to compare the 1979 versus the 1981 in the Type 1 versus Type 2 varieties. Many collectors, novice and experienced alike, can be confused by the descriptions and appearances of the San Francisco mint mark style design change varieties minted on Susan B. Anthony proof dollars in 1979 and 1981. One major point of confusion and misunderstanding is that in 1981 there was no filled S mint mark style. Both 1981 S types 1 and 2 are clear mint mark styles. The term filled S is only appropriate when describing the 1979 S Type 1 mint mark style. The 1979 S Type 2 is the same mint mark style as the 1981 S Type 1. The differences in the 1981 S Type 1 and Type 2 mint marks lie in the shapes of their lower serifs, either squared or rounded on the ends, and the shapes of their horizontal top surfaces, either rounded or flat. The Red Book states rounded and flat and is referring to the top surfaces of the mint mark. We are hoping that this presentation will help to clear away any confusion and misunderstandings in the future. Here are the mint mark styles used in the San Francisco on the Susan B. Anthony dollar. The first one is the Type 1 for 1979 and is described as filled. In 1979, the Type 2 is a clear S, as is the Type 1 for 1981. It is designated MMS 002. Mint mark style number 3 is a clear S, and it is the 1981 Type 2 variety. Here we're pointing out the lower serif is squared off on the end on mint mark style number 2. Mint mark style number 3 has a curved or rounded end to the lower serif. Here's the 1979 S Type 1 variety. It is the filled S. Here's the 1979 S Type 2 variety, the FS501, and this draws a higher or more premium in value. It is designated as a clear S. Here are the two mint mark styles side by side for 1979 S. Here's the 1981 S Type 1 variety. Here also noting that it has a squared off end to the lower serif and the top surface of the S is rounded over. Here's the Type 2 variety for 1981 S proof dollar. It is designated the FS501. It is clear S with flat surface on the top of the S and a rounded lower serif on the end. The FS501 draws a higher premium value as well. Here are the two mint marks for 1981 S side by side. Here are the three mint marks side by side, the filled and the clear for 1979. Mint mark style number 2 is the same for 1979 S Type 2 as well as 1981S Type 1. And this is the third one, being mint mark style number 3 for the Type 2 1981S. In the 1979S and 81S proof sets, all the coins had different mint mark styles, Type 1 and Type 2 in 1979 and 1981. Information and images for these mint mark styles can be found at VarietyVista.com. As a bonus to this presentation, we're also going to talk about the 1979 Philadelphia minted Susan B. Anthony dollar and discuss the near and far date varieties. They are also known as the wide and narrow rim variety. In these images, on the top is the far date, or also known as the narrow rim obverse design variety number 1. Here we're going to be looking at the distance between the numeral 1 and the edge of the rim on the 1 and the 9. They are far date, meaning that this distance is farther away from the rim than in the near date, where the numeral 1 is closer to the rim, or the rim is wider than the rim on this one. The wide rim or near date obverse design variety is designated as FS301 and draws a little higher premium in value.